Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Media Access Awards Easterseals interview series. Today, we're talking to Shoshannah Stern, who is an actor and the co-creator with Josh Feldman of the Sundance Series This Close. Interpreting for us is her fabulous husband, Ricky Mitchell. Thank you. How important is representation? How important is to see oneself represented, reflected on screen?
So Marlee Matlin had an impact on you, so you saw yourself reflected on screen. What would you like, or what do you hope that the next generation, the generation younger than you, can see when they see you in This Close?
Hope something that's more felt. There's something that you can really feel, you know, when you see stories that are told by people that are like you. Like with Children of a Lesser God, I'm grateful for that. You know, I wouldn't be here, this close wouldn't be here, if not for Children of a Lesser God. But it's told from the perspective of a white hearing man and how he sees a deaf woman. And that remains the most popular, most prevalent story about people like me. I'm more interested in how we see ourselves rather than trying to figure out how people see us. And that's really impossible. You'll never know how people see you. And it can be exhausting, you know, because I know that when I audition for deaf characters that are written by people outside of my experience, sometimes and often that happens. And I feel exhausted trying to figure out how to bring truth to an experience that is supposed to be mine. But it's really more about other people and their truth and how they see me. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting even trying to explain that. I'm sure it's exhausting trying to listen to it. So that's why it's important who tells the story. You know, who decides that those stories have value? Right. Who watches those stories? Who works behind the camera? You know, behind the camera is really normalizing that experience. You know, I think in front of the camera, the representation, I mean, it is really amazing. We've made strides in the past few years. I'm very excited by that. But I think behind the camera, that's the world that creates, and that's the world that people see. And that's really important. And I think that's why it's important for us to hire deaf people behind the camera. And for our show, This Close, even though the people who watch the show don't necessarily see the deaf people working behind the camera, it's felt. And the opportunity for education, for change, it often happens on set, but it happens what's between the takes. It happens between the takes and with conversations that go on. And, you know, people see that and people are like, wow, okay, well, deaf people are really good at their jobs and they want to work and they have value. So it's little things like that that I feel like that can and has made real change. 52% of deaf people have a job before this. 52%, that's it. So the experience that America's having right now, like half the people are affected, don't have employment. That's unacceptable, and that was deaf people's everyday experience, before this, and it's not acceptable. People want to work, and they should work.